All right, welcome everybody. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, but this is also my first experience with the MoDev DC meetup. Happy to be here. My name is Andrew Trice, and I'm a technical evangelist with Adobe. And what I'm here to talk to you about today is Adobe's offerings for cross-platform mobile development. And the title of my presentation is More Devices and Less Code. So, real quick about me, I'm a technical evangelist with Adobe. My blog is tricedesigns.com. I do a lot of writing on the Flash platform for mobile and then also on PhoneGap. Those are two of the platforms I'm going to be talking about today. Then also on Twitter, my handle is Andy Trice, and it's also up here on this screen. So before we begin, a quick poll. How many designers do we have in the room? Okay, a couple. How many developers? A lot. And how many management or business stakeholders? Okay. And how many of you are currently using mobile development tool sets? Or mobile development first. And then who's actually using cross-platform right now? Okay, a good number of you. So first of all, let's kind of introduce cross-platform development. Obviously, all of us have a little bit of information here based on the conversations that have already been going on. But cross-platform development is really a means to develop an application with a single technology where that product, the end result, can run on multiple different platforms. So in this case, it builds on the write once, run everywhere concept. You know, originally pioneered in the 90s with Java. And if any of you ever had your hands in Java Swing and were trying to write a lot of that, you probably have terrible, terrible nightmares. You know, the technology has come a long way since then. An example of this, in this picture I have, it's an application that's currently available on the Android market, on the Amazon market, on the iOS App Store, in the Nook Store, and then also in it's going to be in the BlackBerry App World soon. This was developed using Adobe Flex for mobile, and it's really just a basic application that allows you to monitor endpoints. But what I can show you here, this is one code base, and it runs on the desktop using the AIR framework. It runs on Android. I have it on, so Nook is an Android-based platform. I have it on the Galaxy Tab. I have it on the Motorola Atrix. I also have this running iOS, so there's iPad, there's iPhone, there's BlackBerry Playbook. There's a lot of platforms. This is all, like I mentioned, one single code base. So before we get into the specifics about the technologies, like why do you want to go the cross-platform route? What it essentially comes down to is long-term maintenance cost. Cross-platform allows you to have a single code base. That code base is targeting multiple devices. So because of that, you'll only have one bug tracking system. You still have to do QA on a lot of different devices, but you have one bug tracking system, one code base to maintain, a reduced number of skills in order to target multiple platforms. So if you're doing Objective-C development and you're doing Java for Android, and then if you're also trying to target other platforms, let's say BlackBerry, specifically in getting some of the BlackBerry SDKs that aren't as well known, or if you're going, Symbian, Bada, a lot of, or Silverlight if you're targeting Windows Phone. There's a lot of different skill sets required to be able to enter all those different markets. In addition to this, there's a lower barrier of entry. I have a typo here. Because in general, developing with a cross-platform technology, and this is a very general statement, there's always fringe cases, but in general, there's a lot of the technical issues have been kind of abstracted away from you to allow you to focus on implementing the solution using the framework that you have at hand, not necessarily, okay, how do I do this in this language that I've never seen before? Let's say I'm coming from a traditional web development background. I know HTML, I know JavaScript, and I look at Objective-C and I say, what? It's a very, very common experience. Another thing that cross-platform development allows you to do is play to the strengths of a technology. So specifically, if you're using AIR, Adobe AIR, which is a framework for cross-platform mobile development, it's rooted in Flash technology. I'll go into a little bit more about AIR, what it is, but Flash has a very rich graphical interface. It's very easy to do vector graphics. It's very easy to do animations. It's very easy to do programmatic drawing. Trying to do that same kind of logic in Java or trying to do it in Objective-C requires a significantly higher level of technical expertise, and also it takes a longer time to develop. So cross-platform technologies allow you to play to the strengths of whatever platform that you're using in order to develop a solution that achieves your business needs. So Adobe's solutions, we actually have two solutions now. On the left, I have the logos for Flex, Flash, and Air. And then on the right, I have PhoneGap and HTML5. Adobe recently, it was either end of last week or the beginning of this week, has finished the acquisition of Nitobi. Nitobi is a company that makes the open source PhoneGap framework. And so let's get started and talk about specifically what is AIR. AIR is a cross-platform runtime for mobile and desktop applications. It originated on the desktop with bringing features of the Flash runtime, so the rich graphics and the ease of development, to desktop environments. So you could write one code base for desktop applications that run on Linux, that run on Mac, that run on Windows. The natural evolution of that technology has to bring that to the mobile form factor. So now, using AIR for mobile, we're able to develop applications with one code base that can target iOS, Android, BlackBerry Playbook. In addition to BlackBerry Playbook, it'll also be able to run on the BlackBerry QNX operating system that's going to be their new smartphone platform moving forward, as well as soon it's going to be able to support Windows Metro. And Windows Metro is going to be the tablet interface for Windows 8 when that's coming out. Using this technique, you can develop one code base that supports lots of form factors. So you can have it on a phone, you can have it on a tablet, whether it's a 5-inch, a 7-inch, or 10-inch tablet. The SDK allows you to determine what is the physical form. So what's the size in pixels of the screens of these devices that you're working on, what's the DPI, and then you can introspect and say, oh, I specifically know I'm on a phone that's a 3x4 interface, or I'm working on a 5-inch tablet, and you can create interfaces that morph to whatever device you're building them on. What you can also do is, if mentioned in the previous presentation, was that cross-platform frameworks generally get you 90% of the way there as far as coverage of what the platform can do overall. If you have functionality that's required within your application that's in that 10% not supported currently by the framework, AIR allows you to create what's called native extensions. And native extensions allow you to write native code and write an ActionScript interface, and using essentially bridge ActionScript to native code, you can execute device-level functionality through your AIR-based application. So, for example, if you want to have push notifications, or if you want to have interact with something as simple as the Vibrate API of the phone, then you can create a native extension. And there's a lot of open source native extensions that will allow you to do this. Building AIR applications, generally there's different classifications of them. If you have enterprise level applications, you're typically using Flex Framework, but you can also create applications without that, that are pure ActionScript only projects. But Adobe Flex is an open source declarative markup language for building rich applications. And essentially Flex is a reusable set of components that you can use to create your applications. The Flex framework can target web applications, it can target desktop applications, and there's also a mobile optimized set of components. And this is everything from images to lists to data grids to charting. There's a lot of pre-built components that you can tie in with a very, very few lines of code in order to actually build those. And the Flex framework, it's an XML-based language. I'll show some of it in a little bit. But the scripting language that's used to tie it all together is ActionScript. And so you use ActionScript 3, which is a strongly typed language based on ECMAScript, which is the same language classification as JavaScript, but it is strongly typed, and it gives you a lot of the performance advantages and development time advantages of a strongly typed language. So when you're building applications using AIR, you have a lot of different entry points into how to build those applications. What I'm showing here, it might be kind of hard to see in the back, is actually a screenshot of Flash Builder, which we're giving away today. Keep tweeting, hopefully positive ones. And you might end up with a copy of the software. So Flash Builder is a Eclipse-based IDE that is specifically targeted towards building applications using Flash technologies. So it's for Flex applications. There's a little bit of confusion around the name Flash and Flex, but it's Flash Builder. You use Flex, which is the language, to build the applications. And Flash Builder, it has a code view and a design view, and it's also a robust development environment, so it allows you to set breakpoints, do runtime debugging. There's a simulator where you can launch your applications running on your desktop in an interface that mimics the proportions of a physical device, but then you can also connect either across the network or connect across USB and do real-time debugging on actual devices that are, you click a button, it deploys the device, it starts a debug session, then you can step through and see what's in memory and step through execution of code. There's the Flash IDE, or Flash Professional, and for the creatives in the group, probably familiar with this, it's a timeline-based animation tool. So you can create rich animations, rich interactions. Again, you're using ActionScript as a scripting language powering all this, but you can export directly from Flash Professional to Android and to Android, to iOS, and to BlackBerry platforms.